In 2077, what makes someone a criminal? Getting caught.
Hello everyone, this isn't a review of the game, just my opinion about this scandalous project, because I want to express my view too.
How came the once infallible company has begun losing its reputation at breakneck speed? Its shares have begun losing their value and Sony removed the game from the PlayStation Store. We are going to talk about how the black font on the yellow background has become a sign of something horrible, and what happened to Cyberpunk 2077.
A small Polish indie studio, they are creating a AAA project and failed. However, it's turned out not so bad.
Just remember such great games as Anthem and Fallout 76 to understand what I mean.
All of this just works.
Given that, unlike Cyberpunk, these games were not criticized so much, we kinda feel sorry for Cyberpunk. That's because if you don't take into account all the bugs and glitches, you can actually see a great game. In the nearest future, you can only play it decently if you connect 4 RTX 3080, but it will make it so hot that you will be able to synthesize plasma. On the whole, unlike the Fallout 76, which didn't work well, Cyberpunk doesn't work well either, but at least there is some content. But the fact of such a compression itself doesn't favor CD Projekt Red.
Why do I think they dared making a blockbuster? It's easy. PR campaign was vivid. It's all about flex, which was everywhere.
The interviews, stars, cameos, Keanu Reeves, promises, Billie Eilish, billboard in New York for a couple of mil.
The flex. Guys. What about gameplay?
It consists of an opportunity to shoot from a machine gun, pistol, shotgun, sniper rifle and anything else. Fight with a katana like a real samurai and fight with your fist cosplaying Jackie Chan. Also, you can customize your character, like hand hooks. The gameplay is not revolutionary, but it's still much better than that of fellow games. Remember the recent Far Cry with other hundreds of towers. But again, this is a huge minus. The AI of dummy enemies is so bad. Had they a little more acumen, it would be so much better. At least make them behave adequately and not commit suicide.
Ok, enough about dummies. Let's discuss our roach, in this case, the car.
You can actually compare the controls with the Minecraft CAD. It's quite arcade-like, and you get the feeling as if you were playing Mario Kart, but it's still better than physics of cars in, for example, Watch Dogs. Taking into account the fact that transport is not the main mechanics of the gameplay and serves as mean for quick travel between quests, it's acceptable. But there is no possibility to customize the car. Think about the GTA San Andreas, which came out 16 years ago, and it had much more ways to customize your car. At least we can be grateful for flex music while driving.
How about the graphics? It's kinda ok.
But it's nothing like next gen. It only works thanks to cool stylistics and design. Just think about the fact that there are no reflection mirrors. Except for such places as main character's house, where you can examine the looks of the character from all the perspectives. But let's remember that Mafia 3 was criticized exactly for the same reason. Also, it was a little better. I can already envision the angry comments from fanboys about me being another whiner. But the fact is, charging full price for a game which does not work properly on consoles, which we had been told about all the time while the game was in production, is a fraud. By the way, CD Projekt Red have admitted it themselves, but people still argue. The consoles is too old for the game. The FPS is critically low even on the latest PlayStation 4 from 2018, which could be okay unless CD Projekt Red hadn't declared that the game will be optimized for consoles, because at the time there were no ideas about PlayStation 5. I have noticed a fairly popular opinion that the community is responsible for Cyberpunk coming out so raw, because each delay was taken with so much negativity. But it's just nonsense. Of course CD Projekt Red create amazing The Witcher trilogy, but that doesn't give them the right to make trash and deceive the players. There are hundreds of bugs and glitches and bad textures. Modern game industry is full of bugs, but not so many in one game. That's why you are here.
I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs. I did. I read it on the internet, so it's true. And that sometimes it doesn't just work.
I'm not going to talk about the plot. It would be enough to say that it's decent. I recommend checking it out in a couple of months. Time once the game is fixed. The only downside are the bugs again, but as I have already said, I advise playing in a couple of months. Also, side quests are something from Skyrim with its infinite quest. Hello to Todd Goward. Go there, bring me that, kill that guy, and so on. Well, I understand that, but why they couldn't came up with something more creative in 2020? These are the same people who created The Witcher, and why do we love the quest from The Witcher? Exactly, there were no stereotypes. Now you need to help the granny with a flying pan. Second, you get drink with the other Witchers, with all the consequences. On top of that, there were many unaccepted meeting and plot twists. In Cyberpunk, I'm waiting until all the enemies are dead so that I can collect my money and go. Of course, they try to create some variability in the quest, but almost never does it lead to some kind of a choice. Everything always go on rails, and all the scripted scenes can be repeated several times, which ruins the immersion. Non-linearity in Cyberpunk is an illusion. You can argue that is true for all the modern games. But is it what we really were waiting from the CD Projekt Red? I'm waiting for DLC with Ciri. In this case, I'll forgive you everything. Do you hear me, CD Projekt Red? I feel very bad about the cut content. Those of you who have been attentive heard that we are missing on tons of content. For example, there's supposed to be parkour. Also, it doesn't stop some people who you could see in my other videos. Also, the customization of cars, third-person view. We should at least have customization of the main character. Where is the simple stuff like changing the haircut? So, if you create a random character at the start, hoping that you will be able to at least change the haircut throughout the game, you will have to deal with what you've got.
For those of you who haven't yet bought the game, I advise to wait a few months until it stops looking an alpha version.
Then you will be able to enjoy the game without bugs and glitches, but you are going to miss on a lot of fun, because due to all the bugs the game keeps generating memorable events almost all the time.
That's all for now, Samurai.
You believe you cheated death. It is death that has cheated you. If you gotta kill, kill. If you gotta burn it all to the ground, then let it burn.
Yellow Mane! On the ground, asshole! Don't move!
Out of my house! No!